Hello, Nyawe Scano. My name is Ansley Jemison. I'm the Executive Director of the Iroquois Nationals Lacrosse team. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the Bauer M11 helmet that the men are wearing for the World Cup WILC 2015. And talk about some of the details of the helmet itself and kind of the thought process that went into the helmet when we came up with the design.
You know, every year that we do the helmets, the last few years since 2010, I've been pretty heavily involved with the design process and some of the thinking and thought that goes into the helmets. Typically, or most recently, we've been doing 2 helmets for the team, kind of replicating some of the college teams and what they're doing, you know, marketing and how you kind of get your name out there and the flashy and the glitz and glam of kind of what lacrosse has turned into these days. It gives us an opportunity to also tell a little bit of a story in the helmet itself and tell a little story about the Iroquois Nationals and who we are. So one of the more prominent ones that we took last year that was you know, kind of a big hit, and it was something that we thought would be important to highlight for the 2014 Denver games was the Haudenosaunee seal is what we call it here. And this round circular seal here represents 50 sachems. That's the 50 chiefs of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. And then inside of that you have the 9 clans. And so the 9 clans are all represented in there. So you have the deer, the beaver, the hawk, the heron, the wolf, the snipe, the bear, the eel, and the turtle. And then in the middle here we have the tree of peace. And that tree of peace sits atop, sits atop of the tree of peace is an eagle, and it's his vision that oversees everything. And underneath there is buried the weapons of war. And so basically what that then translates into is basically the belt, or the belt that sits below here, which is the Hiawatha belt. And that represents the 5 original nations, and this is the 5 nations of the Confederacy that joined together under the message of peace and became what is now known as the Haudenosaunee Confederacy or the Iroquois Confederacy. And there is also a 6th nation that is not represented in this belt, but it is implied, and that is the Tuscarora Nation. So if you were to go from the furthest to the west, the keepers of the western door are the Seneca, which represent this box here. Next comes the Cayuga Nation, which is kind of near central New York here. And in the center here you have Onondaga, and that's the keeper of the Central Fire, and again represented in what would be a wampum belt is the Tree of Peace. Then comes the Oneida Nation, and then furthest to the east is the Mohawk Nation, and they're considered the keepers of the eastern door. So now at the end of these boxes you see there's lines here at the end. Each of those lines represent that anybody that wants to come under the message of peace and join the Confederacy are welcome to come in and join. And so that's what happened with the Tuscarora Nation. Some people believe that they came back to the Confederacy, and you know, so they are now, you know, full members back with the Confederacy. And originally this belt was designed or used by it's called the Hiawatha belt. And back, I guess, in 1983, when the Iroquois Nationals were actually forming as a team, we didn't really have a belt to fly or a flag to fly. And so Oren Lyons and I guess Wes Patterson came up with the idea that you know, this had a pretty good representation of all the nations that we had playing for us, and so they decided to turn it into essentially what is now considered our flag. But really it's a wampum belt, and we had the opportunity to take the team down to the Longhouse while we were here, and we took the team in, and they got to see the original wampum belt. Some believe the belt itself was made over 1,000 years ago. Some say it even predates that. So it's a pretty rich in history belt there. And it's not just a bumper sticker, it's not just a t-shirt design or a cool, cute logo or something like that. There's actually some real significance and meaning in that belt. And ultimately what it represents is the 5 nations, 6 nations now coming together under the message of peace. As we migrate up the helmet here a little bit, what you're going to see is another belt design, and all of the things that we took are elements that are really kind of important in the Confederacy and within our people. And so this belt here, this long one that is going down the center of the helmet here, actually represents the ever-growing tree. And so that again, now you're getting 3 layers of the tree. You see it in a wampum belt here. You see it represented on the seal, and this seal actually sits inside of our passport. So this is what was important for us. Obviously, people who are familiar with the issues that we've had with our passport, it was important for me to want to put this seal on there to represent that we are a people, we are a nation, and you know, we have our own passports as well. and here we are. So that was the idea and the concept behind putting the seal on the helmets last year for the 2014 team. I'm sorry, I'm backtracking here a little bit, but I kind of glazed over a little bit of this. But the 2014 field team was the first team that it was actually able to compete since 2010 when we had our initial passport issue. And I thought it was important to put it on our men's field helmets to remind everybody that we are a nation, we are a people, and that we do have, our own passport that we do travel on. And so that was the significance and the concept behind putting the seal on the helmet. So getting back to the tree here. So with that message of peace and basically with the concept of like the ever-growing tree, that's what this belt represents. So it's actually a wampum belt design that was designed, and we actually got to see the original form of this belt as well when we went to the Longhouse. And I wasn't really planning on it, initially that we were going to get to see that belt there, but it just so happened that we actually were able to see the original belt, and that dates right around the same time as the Hiawatha belt that I had showed you earlier. So what this tree is representing is that, the Iroquois Nationals, ever progressing, ever growing, the popularity of the game, our people, the love and the passion that our players have, it's ever growing. And so that's what this is it's a wampum belt design of an ever growing tree. And as you see up here towards the front, it looks like it's kind of incomplete or whatever. Well, it's more or less the idea that it's not done growing. So you're just seeing the very little edge of it as it's continue on in its growth. So down here on the side of the helmet, you're going to see the Iroquois National symbol. It's the eagle head dancer. That is a protected mark that we do manage and we do maintain. So we definitely have a little bit of a task ahead of us because we realize that this is such a hot commodity at this point. So we're really having to kind of protect this thing. But this was a design that came up that was designed by Orrin Lyons. He's an artist. A lot of people know him as a chief or a faith keeper or an ambassador or a diplomat. He's actually a pretty good artist. And so this was a concept and a design that he came up with for the Iroquois Nationals back in 1983, and this has been our symbol since then. So what I wanted to do is make that a very prominent piece of our helmet, so we took up a very large space of the Bauer helmet here. And our helmet designer, the guy who did all the decals, is Quiet Storm Custom Wrapz. His name is Derek Chu. He's a Tuscarora guy, and I thought it was very important that we made sure that we had a native artist getting the opportunity to help design the helmets. So he and I sat down together, we talked about the design concepts and what we wanted to get and how we wanted the team to look, and I think he really hit it on the head here with the white helmets. There's just a really classy, clean kind of look to the helmet. They really stand out on the floor, and I think when we handed these helmets out to the guys, you saw the eyes light up. It was pretty amazing. Up here, just the Iroquois Nationals logo. We have a particular font that Nike came up with for us. Nike's one of our primary sponsors, and so they came up with this Iroquois font, and it was supposed to replicate sort of a wampum belt as well in the connectivity of the font itself. And so I thought it was really cool to be able to add that as well as a design element. So up here, we have the Sky Dome. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not. It's kind of a little bit of a smaller emblem here, a decal, but I put it on both sides. Typically, this shows up on beadwork. It's something that has been used since our people have come in contact with our European counterparts, and when trade was happening, we were receiving glass beads and things like that. And so basically what this represents is the Sky Dome, they call it, and it's the sky world that is above us. And it's believed that the game of lacrosse is actually played on the other side before we came to Earth here, because it was believed that part of our cosmology is that we came from a sky world, and we came down here and we landed on the back of a turtle, and that's what's now Mother Earth. And so inside of there is represented, there's a little bit of a small dome inside there. You see that? That could be the very top of the turtle's back. And then what's growing out of there is all the things that sustain us, sustain our life. And on the very top of that sky dome is actually the celestial tree, or the tree that was uprooted, and that opened up the hole where the Haudenosaunee or Sky Woman had fallen through. When Sky Woman fell to what is now known as Earth, she grasped a hold of some roots and plants and things like that, and that's what she put on the back of the turtle, and they planted that on the back of the turtle, and that's what's represented here as those sprouts that come up out of there, and those are the things that sustain us as life. So very significant, I think. I think it was important for us to add that. Typically, you'll see this this beadwork design or this motif used on either leggings or dresses and things like that in beadwork. I think that we actually took this piece here from Caroline Parker, who was a famous Seneca woman. Her beadwork design. This actual beadwork design is held in the Rochester Museum and Science Center in Rochester, New York, and a lot of study has been done on that beadwork design. And so I just thought it was significant to be able to carry that and have that sky dome representation on our helmets because, again, the game was played on the other side, and now we're here playing the game for the creators' enjoyment, and so that was kind of the concept behind that. As we go around to the front here, again, you'll see our eagle head dancer. On the other side there, you'll see the sky dome there. And so attention to detail is what was really paid to with this helmet. So what was really kind of a hot item here was the cage on the helmet itself. This cage was actually produced by a powder coating process that, again, Quiet Storm's custom Wrapz was able to do for us. We talked to them about, let's make sure that the colors all kind of line up and match. And we wanted something that would pop a little bit, so we asked for a metallic purple. And so when it kind of glistens in the different color lights and things like that, it really matches up and kind of changes color and has a little bit of a feature to it that really goes nicely with the helmet. Again, attention to detail. We just got these little little patterns here that has the eagle head represented on there as well, and purple chin cups for safety and things like that. And so every little bit of the helmet, I mean, we kind of made the we took the time and thought about it, and really paid attention to the details here. So, certainly probably going to be a big trade item at the end of the games here. I'm sure a lot of the guys are probably going to hang on to these ones, and we've got 2 sets of helmets, and I think these are the ones that most of the guys are probably going to go home with, and they'll probably be trading off the black ones. But certainly proud of this helmet. I think we did a great job with it, and certainly excited for that. So keep your eye on this, and hopefully you'll see some more cool stuff coming out of the Iroquois Nationals as we continue to progress here. So I appreciate your time today, and we'll be seeing you around.